As part of the deal to broadcast the momentous occasion, Buckingham Palace was granted the power to request that certain pieces of footage from the day's events be vetoed from ever being used again. Specific parts of the filming from the funeral services at Westminster Abbey and Windsor Castle will, therefore, never be shown again. Staff at the royal household reportedly sent messages to the major broadcasters during the event with the timestamps of certain footage they wished to be vetoed from future news broadcasts and social media clips. This resulted in 5 short pieces of video footage being removed from circulation, The Guardian reported. The news of the vetoed footage has caused some unease among commentators, with some criticizing the extent the royal family are allowed to shape news coverage. Buckingham Palace were given the power to request certain footage not be used again. Image, Getty. The royal family asked news channels to veto certain pieces of footage. Image, Getty. One person, Must Treat a Good, on Twitter called it censorship. Another asked, "Is this the funeral we paid for?" But not everyone agreed. One user, Denny Crane, said the reporting was a bit intrusive at times, adding, "Let's be realistic. How would they like it?" Footage and photography from the late monarch's state funeral were reviewed by the palace, with royal household staff providing guidance on what they deemed acceptable, with a clear request to avoid intruding on the grief of individual members of the firm. Read more. Kate and William have a lot of travel ahead. 5 pieces of footage were vetoed from future broadcasts. Image, Getty. Another condition was that the footage should strictly be used in news broadcasts and not in entertainment shows. Clips on social media shared by other news organizations were also instructed to promise they would be solemn and dignified in their reporting. The broadcast of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral was one of the biggest collaborations in British television history, which was watched by an average of 26.2 million people across all channels. The coverage of the day was coordinated by BBC Studios, the BBC's commercial broadcast arm, rather than its news division. Queen Elizabeth II's funeral was broadcast on Monday. Image, Getty. The BBC, ITV and Sky News collaborated together to ensure there were enough cameras and equipment to capture the day's events as the Queen's coffin travelled from Westminster to Windsor. Prior to the Queen's state funeral, the monarch's coffin was lying in state at Westminster Hall, which attracted queues up to 10 miles in length. On Monday, the coffin was moved from the hall to Westminster Abbey for the state funeral. Later in the day, a committal service took place in Windsor followed by a private, more intimate service attended by members of the royal family and the late sovereign's close friends.